Hello everyone, this is Alice. After the mushroom foraging trip, do you want to know more about mushrooms? Today I want to share with you 10 surprising facts about mushrooms. First, animals love magic mushrooms. Many animals eat mushrooms, including deer, squirrels, rodents, insects, snails, pigs and wild boas, bears, and birds. This may be to your surprise, but some animals love to eat magic mushrooms, and they will intentionally look for it, such as reindeers and dogs. People who saw reindeers munching on mushrooms said, "You can clearly see that it thinks it can fly." There are also folklores associating Santa Claus flying reindeer with fly agaric. Second, glowing magician. Some mushrooms are bioluminescent. They emit a soft greenish light in the dark due to chemical reactions within their cells. They take in oxygen from its environment, then combine with luciferin in the presence of luciferase to create light. The amazing fact is that they are able to control when and how they emit light. Third, cow poop. Many mushroom species can grow on cow dung or manure. Cow dung provides a nutrient-rich substrate that supports the growth of various fungi. Fungi that grow on manure are often referred to as coprophilous fungi. Such fungi release their spores to the surrounding vegetation, which is then eaten by herbivores. The spores then remain in the animal as the plants are digested, pass through the animal's intestines, and are finally defecated. The fruiting bodies of the fungi then grow from the animal feces. The spores can survive the digestive system because they are particularly thick-walled. One well-known example of the mushroom that grows on cow poop is the Psilocybe cubensis, a magic mushroom. 4. Meat lover. We know that there are many meat-consuming plants, such as Venus flytrap, pitcher plants, sundews, etc. But do you know there are certain types of mushrooms that are carnivorous also? They typically eat microscopic ones, like nematodes or other tiny invertebrates. They have evolved into carnivorous mushrooms in nutrient-poor environments to supplement their nutrient intake. Honey fungus has been observed capturing and digesting nematodes. 5. Neither plants or animals. Mushrooms belong in a kingdom of their own, separate from plants and animals. They are fungi, which differs from plants and animals in the way they obtain their nutrients. Plants produce their own food through photosynthesis. They absorb light energy from the sun using pigments called chlorophyll. Then they transform the light energy into chemical energy by converting carbon dioxide and water into glucose and oxygen. Glucose is a simple sugar that serves as the primary energy source for the plant. Animals obtain nutrients through food such as plants, animals, or other organic matter, and digest it internally. Animals have specialized digestive systems that break down food into smaller molecules, which are then absorbed through their digestive tracts into their bloodstream. Plants and animals all rely on the sun's energy. By eating plants and animals, humans also eat the light energy from the sun. Unlike plants or animals, mushrooms do not directly rely on the sun for their growth and nutrition. Instead, they absorb nutrients from their environment. They secrete enzymes outside their bodies that break down dead organic matter into simpler compounds, and then absorb these nutrients directly through their cell walls. Once absorbed, the nutrients are transported through the fungi mycelium to other parts of the mushroom for growth, development, and reproduction. Their decomposing role keeps the soil healthy. Human and mushrooms are closer related to each other than either to plants. Plants are autotroph, meaning they produce their own food, while both fungi and animals are heterotroph, meaning they eat other organisms. 6. Magical use of mycelium. What we see above the earth is the mushroom's fruiting body, but that's not all of the mushroom. What we don't see below the earth is their intricate thread-like network called mycelium. It is everywhere below our feet. Mycelium has a lot of magical use. First, nutrient absorption. Mycelium is responsible for absorbing nutrients and water from the environment. they can expand its presence in search of resources underground. Second, nutrient exchange. Mycelium forms symbiotic relationships with plants in mycorrhizal associations. Plants will store the sugar obtained from photosynthesis to its roots and release them into the surrounding soil. Mycorrhizal fungi attach to plant roots to get sugar. In return, they provide extra water and nutrients to the plants, as fungi can absorb more nutrients and water from the soil, thanks to the high surface area provided by their mycelial network. Third, decomposition. Mycelium plays a vital role in breaking down dead organic matter. It helps recycle nutrients from decaying material back into the soil. Fourth, communication and resource sharing. Mycelium can connect and communicate with other mycelial networks of the same or different species. This wood wide web allows fungi to exchange nutrients, signals, and even chemicals with neighboring mycelia. Fifth, defense and competition. Mycelium can release antimicrobial compounds and enzymes that inhibit the growth of other fungi or microorganisms in their territory. This helps fungi defend their space and resources from competition. Sixth, storage of nutrients. Mycelium can store excess nutrients during periods of abundance, releasing them when resources become scarce. 7. Oldest and largest living organism. Fungi has appeared on Earth more than 1 billion years ago, long before plants and animals. They are not only one of the oldest living organisms, but also the largest. The world's largest living organism is believed to be a mycelium network of honey fungus in Oregon's Malheur National Forest. It covers an area of over 2,385 acres, or 965 hectares, and weighs 605 tons. To put it into scale, it is as big as 1,665 standard football fields and as heavy as 3 blue whales. It has been growing in this forest for more than 2,400 years. In terms of the largest individual fruiting body, or the visible part of the mushroom, is Philinus ellipsoides, discovered in southern China, with a dimension of 10.85 meter long by 84 cm broad by 5 cm thick. It weighs between 401.9 kg and 515.7 kg. 8. Fairy rings. Have you ever seen a ring of mushrooms? And the grass inside the ring seems greener than the surroundings. Circular patterns of mushrooms is known as fairy rings. The mushrooms grow in such pattern because the mycelium's growth has pushed outward from a central point. The zone where the mycelium has enriched the soil, becomes an ideal environment for grass or other plants to grow. As a result, the area inside the expanding mycelial zone often appears greener and healthier compared to the surrounding soil. 9. Spore shooter. Mushrooms reproduce by producing spores. They are usually released from the gills or pores on the underside of the cap and are carried by wind or other means to new locations. However, some mushrooms can shoot their spores out like a pea shooter, in order to increase the chances of spore dispersal over a greater distance. You can also make spores imprints to better identify a mushroom, or to create a piece of art. The steps are easy and straightforward. If you want to store it, you can lightly spray the spore print with a water mist to prevent the spores from scattering. Allow the print to dry before storing or documenting it. 10. Ant farmer. Some species of fungi form a symbiotic relationship with ants. It is known as ant fungus farming. Leafcutter ants are known for their behavior of cutting and carrying leaves back to their nests, where they use the leaves as a substrate for growing a specific fungus. The ants groom and tend to the fungus, providing it with optimal conditions for growth. In return, the ants feed on specialized structures produced by the fungus called gongilidia. The mutualistic relationship benefits both partners. The ants gain a nutrient-rich food source, while the fungus gains protection from competitors and prevent pathogens due to the ants' grooming behavior. 11. The nightmare fungi. I know usually I do only 10 things, but this last one is mind-blowing, so I can't leave it out. There is one very evil fungi called entomopathogenic fungi. It will infect insects, in particular termites. There is one such fungi called cordyceps. After infecting an ant, it will flood the ant's brain with chemicals, drugging it and controlling its mind, making it go to a place that is of perfect light and humidity for the mushroom's growth, then forcing her to dig her head into the soil. At the meantime, its mycelium will grow inside of the ant, infiltrate its muscles, feed on its organs until it's just an empty shell. Then it will grow out of the dead ant. In 3 weeks, it will mature and be able to release spores at a speed of 30,000 spores per second. One of the spores will fall on an ant, and the vicious circle continues. One of the infected ants will try to go back to its colony. The other ants, knowing what such spores can do, have developed a spore repellent feature to protect the colony. If a worker ant got infected by such spores, when it returns to the nest, the guards will capture this ant, take it far away, and cut off its head. Then the 2 guards commit suicide to protect the queen and the colony. But what's more crazy is, recently, Paw-se discovered a biological switch that delayed sporulation, so the infected ant is not repelled when returning to the nest. Instead, all other ants were super attracted. The infected ant will be able to pass the guards, give the spores to the queen, and then the queen will feed it to the brood. The whole colony will be taken down by cordyceps mycelium. Cordyceps made the first infected ant work as a Trojan horse. How genius! Cordyceps does not stop at ants. They also infect caterpillars. In Chinese medicine, cordyceps-infected caterpillar is called Yarsagumba or 冬虫夏草. This parasitic fungus forms out of the head of ghost moth larvae living in the soil at altitudes above 3,000 meters. It has been used as an aphrodisiac for at least 1,000 years, thus the nickname Himalayan Viagra. As Yarsagumba grew in popularity, it exploded into a multi-billion-dollar industry spanning China, Singapore, and the United States. Now, Yarsagumba can sell for a staggering $40,000 to $50,000 per kilo. Selling Yarsagumba has become a primary source of income for people living in remote villages in Nepal, northern India, Bhutan, Tibet, and China. Harvesting of the fungus has helped to curb endemic poverty in the Himalayas.